Okay, we're back to our frame, and if you remember, this is the panel that we're going to make removable, and to make it removable we're going to fix it with screws and rivnuts. Rivnuts are threaded inserts that are put through a hole in a panel or a tube and then squeezed in a similar way to a pop rivet. They're available in steel, stainless steel or aluminium in both countersunk and flathead versions. And these are the tools that we use to pull the rivnuts. This one's a budget one that will set aluminium rivnuts between M3 and M6. And this is a heavy duty one that will set steel, stainless and aluminium rivnuts between M3 and M8. Each tool comes with a set of interchangeable mandrels. This is a countersunk rivnut. If you countersink your hole, this rivnut will sit flush to the surface. And this is a flathead rivnut. This one will sit slightly proud of the surface. We've marked out our removable panel, just the same as we did for the fixed one, but this time we've marked 4 equally spaced holes along this aluminium return, and we're going to drill and cleco it just the same as before. We've drilled all the pilot holes in the panel and the frame, and because this is not a structural panel, we've chosen to use M4 size screws to fix it together. And because the panel also sits flush to the frame, we're going to use countersunk rivnuts. The shank of this M4 countersunk steel rivnut measures 6 mm, and that's the size we're going to drill the holes in the frame. We now need to countersink the holes in the frame to accept the countersunk rivnut, and to do that we're going to use this solid carbide countersink bit. This will last for ages and it will cut clean, accurate countersinks in aluminium, steel, stainless, perspex or fiberglass. A little drop of light oil on the countersink bit will help it cut cleanly. Beautiful. To demonstrate how a rivnut works, we're going to put an M6 aluminium rivnut into the hole in this aluminium panel. We first insert the M6 mandrel into the rivnut tool, and this is a left-hand thread. We then insert the cover, which is a right-hand thread, and we then screw on the rivnut. We then put the rivnut through the hole and squeeze the tool. And then we unscrew the mandrel from the rivnut. And there we are. Same thing again to install the countersunk rivnuts in the frame, but on this tool we put a 4 mm washer on the mandrel first. As a general rule, we'll insert steel rivnuts into steel panels and tube, and we'll use aluminium rivnuts into aluminium panels or fiberglass. So here's an aluminium rivnut going into our fixed panel. Here's all the rivnuts installed on our fixed panel and our frame. We now need to open up the holes in a removable panel for the 4mm screws. And of course deburr the holes on both sides. Before we finally bond and rivet our fixed panel, we've got a few more jobs to do. We're going to make a hole through the panel for the seatbelt mounting bolt. We're going to make a little hole for a grommet to pass through some wires. And we're going to make a removable cover for instance, access to a gearbox filler plug. While the clecos are still in place, we've marked the two larger holes with a magic marker, and we're just going to scribe through the chassis bracket onto the aluminium plate for the seatbelt mounting hole. We're going to mark the centre of the hole by measurement. First we scribe a line in the centre of the hole in this direction, and then at 90 degrees, and where the lines cross is the centre of our hole. That's the seatbelt hole.